my buddy Dash for this episode of Double Take. Dave, I just said joined by Dash, but we're joined by Dash and
in
Dave.
The third person. That's
The way
weird.
The way you feel.
Happy Wednesday, technically transfer deadline day, and the transfer market technically will close in like 30 minutes. Like the official deadline time.
I thought it closed at 8 o'clock. I think it's already closed.
I don't.
I looked it up. It said 8 o'clock Central European time, like Italy time. So I think we're done. We're done. It is the final countdown.
I mean, technically, I'm just trying to like drag it out like how you would in FIFA or whatever. But anyways, everybody, it is Wednesday. You know what Wednesday is? It's the Lollygag Show, or as some of you scholarly individuals would like to call it, the Tinfoil Hat Show. And we're here. We got a lot to talk about, actually. There was a lot of stuff. So we've got, obviously, the elephant in the room. We got to talk about Chale. Chale joining Juventus. So we've got ourselves a Chale from Britain. And then, I've got some things that some of the Southampton's folks have talked about. Chale. I'm just going to call him Chale just because that's how they wrote it instead of Charlie. What else do we got? Dave sending us the daily sus Doosan photo of the day. Frankie giving us an article about the Premier League refs to explain VAR decisions. So we'll talk about that. Daniele Rugani apparently getting kicked out of his house because he pissed off his woman because he's sleeping at the J Hotel. And also
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Somebody posted it on Discord. I think it was Frankie. I'm going to double check because I have it up right now. No, it was Frankie. Frankie posted it up. So Rugani potentially in the doghouse, allegedly. Now we've got that. And McKennie's $2.5 million a season contract renewal. So that will be quite a juicy for Big Mac. But I think let's talk about the elephant of the room. Chale officially signed. It looks like, the deals and paperwork are done. I know Juventus released actual documentation on the transfer, so I'm trying to pull that up. Whether or not, I don't know if we have that already saved on the disc. Nope, no, we don't. So there's actual stuff that's coming out there for sure. So let me pull that sucker up real quick.
And I'm looking. It's from Football Italia here anyways. They do say it's 8 o'clock local time. And there was confusion because it's 11 o'clock for Spain and like everywhere else is midnight. So, of course, they just can't keep things the same. So, it is officially closed at this point because it's 11:30 there. So, it's been closed 3.5 hours. It's done.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 8 p.m. No, it says January 31st, 8 p.m.
Okay. Well, Mercado's done. So it looks like we have, looking at the actual stuff, which is a little bit weird here. I don't understand, and I don't think it'll be, like, for example, I don't know what the actual documentation is, because even on the Juve documentation, it's pretty blunt. It's, and I'll just share Fabrizio Romano's just because I can't find the actual thingamadoodle on the Juve sites. If someone can find it on the Juve site and send it to me, that'd be awesome in the Discord. But so coming off of Fabrizio here, we've got a 3.7 million loan fee with 1.9 million in add-ons with a buy option clause, not mandatory but available in June for 49.5. I don't know, man. Like, for me, the money and the numbers, I don't really get it. There's some backstory allegedly with Giuntoli wanting him at Napoli. When he was at Napoli, he wanted to get Chale, but couldn't get Chale because it just didn't fit correctly, and then Southampton got relegated. Because I'm going to keep it a buck for you guys. Like that's, I don't know, man, 50 million for a player that's in the championship. He's not English, so like the English tax doesn't really fall in line with that. So I'm a little bit perplexed. Dave, have you had anything that you've wanted to marinate or think about this?
Well, I've been marinating all day.
Fair enough.
I, man, I think this has layers. It has to have layers. Now, the latest I heard, I believe it was Sal was in the Discord from the Sky Sports with the more he plays, the less it's going to cost us. Now, if that's the case, my first question is, anyways, is that off the cost of the loan or off the cost of the purchase?
I believe the purchase.
And why would that be the case? If the team expected the player back, they would want him to play more. But if they're looking just to cash in, wouldn't they? Unless that's something Gentoli put in, because like, man, 50, this is a lot. But if it's like each game it drops 500,000, I don't know. And does he have to start or does he come off the bench? Like that throws a whole curveball in it if that's true. That's Sky Sports, so maybe it's true. Maybe it's
Right. I mean, 3.7 loan with 1.9 in add-ons. Like that's a very expensive 6-month rental.
yes. Now talking about a 6-month rental, that part of the deal, it is super expensive.
Because
So what is actually is what sort of wizardry are they cooking up, or did we just get desperate?
I don't know, because like, for example, I'm looking at, so I pulled up the Independent, and obviously you guys can take the Independent as serious as you would want to take them, but I'll share this article with you here and the phrasing of it. And obviously let's not look too deep into it, but the way that it's phrased, it's almost like they kind of just were like, Juve take Carlos Alcaraz off Southampton's, like he's excess or surplus requirements, right? And it's just, like, for example, if I'm taking something off my hands or having Dave take something off my hands, I'm liquidating something. I'm getting rid of excess because of the way that you worded it, correct? So when we look at this article, so it says Juve have signed Southampton midfielder Carlos Chale on loan for the rest of the season with an option to buy. 21-year-old has scored 4 goals in 26 appearances for the Saints this season. Russell Martin's side is third in the championship, and they seek an immediate return to the Premier League. So the director, Jason Wilcox, such a British name, Wilcox, told the club website, allowing Chale to leave on loan was a decision that we've been deliberating for some time. Considering the midfield options we have available right now and Charlie's lack of game time, we wanted to allow him this chance to gain some valuable experience in one of the top leagues in Europe. So I'm going to stop here and kind of talk about it, right? Maybe they put a high option to buy because they don't want him to be sold. Because let's be honest with you, he hasn't featured much because the system that Southampton is playing isn't really catered well to him. It doesn't, he doesn't fit how they're playing and what they're doing. But at the same time, you're kind of like, hey, we'll loan you him, even though we want him to get minutes, but it's going to cost you roughly $5 million.
This is lawyer talk. This sounds like this came off the Juventus website. Let's check that.
It did. They posted it. I just couldn't find it.
Oh, it's here. I'll bring it up.
You got it? All right, let's do it. Share it. Because we need to break this down, because I really think that something is very, very suspect. And I'm not saying like plus Valenza, like 10 points down suspect, but it just seems odd. A lot of it seems really odd, like with the money that's involved. Also, I don't know. Go ahead. Let it cook.
All right, a flexible midfielder and reinforcement for the Juventus department, which will be able to count on a player capable of making himself useful in different areas of the pitch and with a strong offensive predisposition. The Argentine born in 2002, he will turn 22 next November, grew up in racing with where he made 83 appearances with 12 goals. Team in which he has demonstrated that he can play both as a central midfielder and as a midfielder. I think when they say that in Italian, it doesn't sound as...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, sounds better. Which over the years has become his main role, but not the only one he is capable of covering. Son of a footballer and debutant already in 2020 in the Argentine League, Alcaraz joined Southampton last season, January, with whom he played 18 games in the Premier League. Having a positive impact with his 4 goals and 2 assists, also arrived thanks to their insertion skills and excellent finishing skills on goal. This season, again with Southampton, he has made 26 appearances, of which 23 in the championship, making a total of 4 goals and 3 winning passes. Welcome, Carlos. So that doesn't talk about the money at all.
Dave is reading the official PDF with the values here. Agreement further entails the right to see if it's an article or does this
They
should be a PDF.
sometimes link it.
There
It's
it
right
is.
here.
There it is. Bam, we found it.
But I
Dave has
gotta
to
bring it up.
download it and do the old thingamadoodle.
Give me
So,
this.
German Dave says the agreement further entails the right to Juventus to definitively acquire the players' registration rights for an agreed consideration of $49.5 million. That's payable in 3 years, from what I saw in the PDF. And you got it in Italian,
Got it in Italian. Oh yeah.
but that's
So
pretty
yeah,
much
3 million.
Dave's paraphrasing it here.
Yeah, ancillary of 0.2 with bonuses of 1.9. And looks like 49.5 as an option. Can be paid as an option, essentially, is how it translates. The best I can with my shit Italian.
Yeah, right. Well, see, I'm perplexed, right? Like I really am, because like when we go through it, Allegri said. So the article says, and we'll switch back to me real quick. Juventus are a huge club, and we are convinced that the move will allow Charlie the opportunity to flourish and come back and be a success at Southampton. Allegri sides at second, 1 point behind leaders, having played a game more, and that's pretty much it.
And
So I'm
just
confused. Go ahead, Dave.
yeah, just to elaborate on this as well, because the numbers don't really paint the whole picture. The numbers they gave. Yes, he played 23 or 28 matches. He starts about half of them, and he's played about half the minutes. So he's very much a rotation, like a semi-rotational type player in the championship. It seemed as if he played more last season, but again, maybe we are taking them off Southampton's hands for one reason or the other, because he's not starting in the second division all the time. So
And the argument is saying that the system that the club is playing, it just doesn't fit him, right? That's one of the arguments.
perhaps, yeah, but if he's this versatile of a midfielder, would the system have that much of an impact? And he's Frank's saying he's versatile. So if he's versatile, he can play in different systems.
Because that's where I have like my question marks on it, right? Where I'm just kind of like, because from what I'm assuming, like people are linking this guy to what Arturo Vidal was or what DePaul was. Essentially, they're kind of putting him on that echelon, and then it's like, yes, Transfer Market isn't the greatest source, but when we look at transfermarket.com, his value is 15 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
now that
is huge.
they don't update these. Does it say when they last updated? Because especially for a young
December
championship
21st.
player, they're not gonna get all the updates.
December
right?
21st.
This December, like a month ago.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm perplexed because, like, for example, okay, center midfielder, center forward. For me, it's like I'm thinking, if I'm using logic, right? If this move was a $1 million loan with a potential to redeem at 30, I'm like, okay, this is something where he's going to fill in and essentially be fourth choice to Moretti, right? Like he's going to be the alternative. People aren't going to see Moretti start in I call them the throwaway or the trap games.
I think it became clear that we need something better than Moretti.
Yeah.
And that's just it. He's replacing Moretti, fourth choice midfielder, which means he's a rotational piece. He's still going to get game time. I don't think this kid's a starter unless, like last weekend, he would have been a starter in a game like that.
Starter. And the additional thing I can think of is if we play a 3-5-1-1, I would assume that he would play behind Dusan.
Now, is this going more to setting up for next year? Let's say we follow through with this. I'm thinking like a 4-3-1-2, and he's the one.
It could
maybe
be.
Something like that could happen. A lot of this deal, it kind of goes both ways. It's like, okay, we're not going to exercise the option. We're just throwing $4.5 million at the wall. Just let's go for the Scudetto. Let's try to get this double. We'll spend a bit of money, gamble a little bit, and see how it cooks off. It's either that or Gintoli has found like the next Kvaratskhelia type profile, and he's putting the money down, and he's got to cook. just let him do his thing. He's a mastermind, and we're all idiots. And he's cooked something amazing up. I have no idea. It's one or the other.
Yeah, Gintoli. So the rumors have it, and this is all just hearsay, that when he was at Racing, Gintoli was trying to purchase him for Napoli at the time, and then he signed for Southampton. Obviously, let's be honest,
for half the price, like he's doubled in price essentially.
yeah, and this is where I'm a little bit perplexed, where it's like, okay, great. So he was purchased around to was loaned. Says it's a loan. This transfer history. See, even his transfer, is this guy like the next Alvaro Morata, where like his transfers make absolutely no sense, and he's just like thrown in loan deals and stuff to money launder. Like I think that's what Alvaro Morata is at this point, right? So you've got him essentially. So the transfer Southampton to Juve, market value 15 million, loan fee 3.9. Market value from Racing to Southampton was 8.5 million. He was purchased for 13.65 by Southampton, which that makes sense. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical of this 50 million, unless they're expecting this guy to go nuclear for the next 6 months. And Argentinians take time. Argentinians take time to adjust to Serie A. It's not going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah, there's just so many. It's almost as if this transfer is the perfect transfer for the tinfoil hat show, because we can go down so many rabbit holes. Right now, here's another thing as well. I'm looking again to June, next year essentially, prepping for next season. Sudakov effectively became unavailable for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, his new contract makes his release clause bonkers.
100 mil. So that was, from what we can extrapolate from the data, that was probably Gintoli's number one target. And almost immediately after he became unavailable, bam, we have Charlie. So again, and how about Samarditch? That's the other thing. We apparently have an agreement with Samarditch. What is the future? Is this literally plugging a hole and then we're going to go buy Samarditch? Or did we just like fuck over every other top team in Italy by saying that we have an agreement and then he goes nowhere?
I think it's a little bit of both, because so according to Di Marzio, nobody knew about Alcatraz or what is it?
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz. I'm thinking of Alcatraz. Why am I thinking of the prison?
And he's not a defensive player, so it doesn't even work.
No, right? Ironically, nobody knew about Chalai, but it says the surprise materialized within 24 hours with unbelievable figures. The whole salary is paid by Southampton. Juve dealt with him in great secrecy. He is quality, inclusion, and young midfielder in a young Juve. So could it be, right? Is there smoke and mirrors with this, where Giuntoli knew that this guy was it? Like, he knew that this was a genuine article. Let me try to make it think, because there's so many conflicting reports. So, like, for example, Southampton were fine with a loan with small figures, with an option instead of an obligation, whereas Udinese wanted actual money into the actual deal itself. So, like, for example, Udinese wanted an obligation, where I think Juve didn't want to do the obligation, because right now, if you were to do an obligation, you're locking into that price, right? Where if Samarditch doesn't play well the second half of the season, you have a little bit liquidity as far as purchasing him there.
And sorry, I'm going to interrupt for a quick sec, since we got Colo in here, and I did like 10 minutes on the bike before setting up, and sorry if that came off my speakers, but Colo did, and I knew it was coming. I just felt it. Why wouldn't Colo make a Carlos Alcaraz video? So what I'm going to do, because it is probably the best one out there now, the other ones are kind of iffy. There's the link. Check it out. Check it out after, or put it on second monitor or something. It's 4 minutes, but it is a pretty good highlight reel. And I do have to say, the kid looks good. But anyways, sorry, I just want to do some shameless plugs there for Colo. Continue, please.
No, fine. Look, maybe that just might be it. As far as the money comes in for Samarditch, maybe Juve didn't feel that the valuation was good enough, and they didn't want to lock into it, so they wanted to wait until the summer. But I think how Empoli went down, because I think Juve originally was confident in saying, "Look, maybe we could just run with what we have until the summer," and then just kind of the Empoli match is like, "Okay, we need to actually do something." Like it's not this isn't going to help, because let's be honest, without Rabiot, Locatelli, and McKennie all playing together at the same time, midfield's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's enough with those three playing well. It's enough to get you by. But and then it's just like I was hearing some things where it's like, oh, throw Cambiaso on the left, way on the right. Guys, you got to understand, McKennie and Cambiaso need to be playing on the same side together. That is when they're the most effective.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, even with Charlie coming in, people are saying that Charlie's going to bench McKennie. That's extremely stupid.
No, I think, and we see this every year, we're witnessing it right now. Rabiot, as tough as he is not. He's a human. He's not bulletproof,
human,
right?
yeah.
He goes down a couple times a season, misses a couple games here and there. You 100% need that backup, as we have seen. That goes back. Moretti isn't cutting it. Sorry, man. Not cool. But, yeah. It's just, my mind's going in so many different things. I mean, Vlad says it here. It could be one of these. I've literally, everything you guys are saying has probably gone through my head at some point today.
Yeah.
Like, is this thing buy for 50, sell for 100? I mean, like, Tottenham, sell to Tottenham, right? People are saying, oh, maybe it's just balancing the books. FFP's hitting the Premier League pretty hard these days. Tal coming in. Haven't seen you in a while, bud. Welcome. How you doing?
Pepe did make a great video about him. So.
Yeah, he has 2 videos today. I've watched both of them. I'm telling you, like, I've just tried to absorb today. My head's been wild. But Beppe, he also has the second one, a young reporter that has followed this kid. It's funny because the reporter's younger than Charlie, so take it for what it is. But it was a good insight from somebody that has watched him. So both Beppe videos would probably run you, 35, 40 minutes total?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. German Dave says in the case we needed to finish the deal and accept that. I think that's what David's bringing up, and I think that's probably the most rational way to think of it. Where, like, I think Juve are just kind of like, fuck it, whatever. Like, Southampton's like, hey, just pay us $3.5 million and we'll loan them to you for 6 months and then slap on this option, right? Where it's just like Juve's just kind of like, F it, let's just do it and get this over with. Because here's the thing that a lot of people don't know. When it comes to options to buy, usually the club, so for example, if I loaned Dave to a club for $50 million as an option for a buyout option, when the season ends, when it comes to the negotiation table, Dave, I have first dibs on Dave compared to any other team out there. So I think this might be Giuntoli sticking his foot in the pond, per se, his foot in the pool.
He's butting to the front of the line.
He's butting to the front of the line because, like, for example, if he does well, he can just trigger, like, for example, if Chale does what a 50 million euro midfielder, two-way midfielder, as he's being projected to do, in theory, you get him as a steal. In theory. However...
Yeah, I mean, he... Especially with Premier tax, like, he could. He's a Premier player at this point, right?
Easily sell him and flip him to a Premier League team higher. Or... if he's roughly around that, 45, 50 million performance, like a little bit lower than that, right? He's already automatically first at the negotiation table. Because he's like, hey, look, I see the valuation that you got on him. It's not really the best, but we'll still utilize him. Let's see if we can work out a deal. So it's essentially putting his stake in the sand where it's like, I've got something on this. The question is whether or not this kid can come in and do what he needs to do in 6 months. That's going to be the question right now.
So it's essentially like a $4 million gamble. It might work out. I mean, if it works out, he looks like a genius. If it doesn't work out, we forget about him next season and we forget that the $4 million even exists.
The other thing that we need to take into a factor that we're just thinking strictly on the midfield. This guy can play as a center forward as well.
Yeah, he can play that pocket.
Yeah, so he can play that pocket. So whether or not, Yildiz is in his jimmies or Chiesa is not healthy, as I think Chiesa's demonstrated this season that he is not someone you can rely on, unfortunately, because we got to call a buck, right? So let's be honest here. So, like, Chiesa, a question mark. I think Milik is only a replacement for Dusan. I don't think you're going to see those two play together at this point ever again. Moise Keane, I don't know what's going to happen with Moise Keane at this point, but I think you're going to see a 1-2 punch with Charlie and Yildiz potentially, because I really think Charlie's going to occupy that space with Yield. If Yildiz goes into a rut, I think Charlie slots into that role, because right now, with a healthy Rabiot, McKennie, and Locatelli, I don't see any of those guys getting benched. I really don't. And like, for example, and Vlad is kind of mentioning Rabiot's a different profile than Chale and or Moretti, but we have no replacement for Rabiot right now. I think that they need something better, another option than Moretti right now. Like, they're not looking as like a pseudo Moretti replacement or replacing Moretti. I think it's more so along the lines as we've seen what Moretti's given us, and it's not good for where we're at currently right now, and we need a better alternative. Because let's be honest, like, Moretti hasn't really done well. Like, he's had spurts, but it's just not been a sustained. Like, he's not. Moretti right now in the midfield rotation is what you would call in basketball your sixth man. The guy that comes in, gets you some buckets while your main guy is out. Moretti is not that guy.
Oh my god,
right
there's so
now.
many. I can't keep my head straight. Like, you're just talking about more things. Moretti. What if we sell him? What if we sell Bernache at 20 mil? We sell Sule for, I don't know, 30 mil. There's your 50 mil. You know?
Yeah.
I just sorry. My head's all over the place today.
Do you think that there's a link up between Sule and Chale potentially with Southampton?
Now, well, how about the fact that they're both Argentines, and perhaps what if there's something within Juventus between the two?
That's what I'm thinking, right? That could be a possibility. So I'm going to pull up Southampton on FOTMob and see how they play.
And Dave gifted another membership. We have to address that right now. Let's see who it went to. Why are my speakers on, for Christ's sake? Sorry. It goes to Vlad. Who better? Congratulations, Vlad, and thank you, Dave. What a swell man. Both fine gentlemen.
So Southampton in the last game against Watford played. We'll share this and we'll show this. We'll do some research and some scouting on this. So it says Southampton played in a 4-3-3 in the last match, and he's a center midfielder, right? That's what they're selling, and there he is right there, Chale. So he's playing as a left midfielder, center midfielder. I don't understand then, because the argument is, okay, he's not being utilized enough. Okay, so what system does Southampton play? Play a 4-3-3. And it looks like he's the first choice off the bench if he's available.
Well, if he's done over 1,000 minutes, he's definitely a primary choice off the bench.
Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday, they're playing in a 4-3-3 again. No Charlie there. Yeah, Charlie coming in off the bench, 77th minute. So he's essentially getting garbage time minutes.
Well, he started 13 times as well, so he's getting a mix. And that could play to the benefit that he's not a starter, so he's not necessarily expecting those minutes either. That it could play into part of the deal here, at least for the 6-month part of it.
Here's the versatility of it. So striker, attacking midfielder, right wing, left mid. He's all over the place as far as positioning goes. And then if I'm trying to see if I can get his stats up here. 3 goals, 1 assist. But that's not accurate because he just had 2 assists on one of the previous games. So he had 2 assists on this. Oh, it's an FA Cup where he's got the 2 assists. So he starts in the FA Cup match.
Hold on.
Okay.
Bones gave memberships. There's just so many distractions tonight, but we got to go. Thank you so much, Bones. And it's going to Vincenzo.
Nice.
Another gentleman.
All right, Blackburn Rovers. So Southampton is playing a 4-2-3-1 here, so it's a little bit of a variation. Still no Charlie. Charlie comes in the 76th minute with a penalty make and miss. And Ellie is saying hi to the viewers.
She wants to make out with me, but not on camera.
So, David, I really think, and this is me speculating,
Jeff just dropped a dime. Hey, did we tell you guys as well? Sorry, I'm just cutting Dash off today. Fuck that guy. We got the whole monetization. The money's flowing. The money's flowing now, guys. So give us all your money. We'll take it all. And we do appreciate you guys, in all honesty, jokes aside. So thank you very much.
All right. So Chale played here in the 4-2-3-1 as a substitute penalty. I'm getting the intention that this guy is like the Swiss Army knife for Southampton this season. And then Jeff saying Juve on Felipe Anderson from Di Marzo and Ricardo.
And again, because this news is
it's
becoming more and more of a thing, David, I think I'm converted that we're going to 4 at the back next season.
Yeah, Dave, I'm speculating, man. I think we're seeing either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 next season.
Yes. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think anybody is exactly the formation, but I think we're going 4 at the back. Everything's pointing that way right now.
It's, like I said with Anderson, like it's really, really starting to look like we're doing that.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild day. I have not been so like uncertain of the team's future since, well, I don't know, since we didn't know how many points we were losing last season.
Yeah, and there is, and this is honestly, seriously, this is really a tinfoil hat show.
It is just on one person. It's
on one person.
I'm glad, yes, that came out from DiMarzio just recently.
Yeah.
Salary paid in full by Southampton. And again, that's something you have to consider. Yes, it's an expensive loan, but then you're not paying salaries. So you can take, I don't know how much he's worth, a few $100,000 perhaps off that.
It's not money. Frankie says, "Hey Dash, he is. This is why I compared him to Berna. He plays everywhere. He does. My thing is like, this has to be a smoke and mirrors move for that 50 mil. It has to be, because that's a very expensive Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Or is it a genius move by Giuntoli? He reserved the right to renegotiate with Southampton and put that price tag on him just to scare off interest from other clubs if he pops off.
And we see this from Juve. They never will pay the full option price. They will try to negotiate it lower. And if they don't actually get the value that they think it's worth, they're like,
also,
there's your loan. Morata.
It's payable in 3 years too. So
payable. Where'd you see that?
The 50 million is payable in 3 years on the PDF.
It was in the PDF. Sorry, I didn't actually read the English.
In the PDF. It's in the PDF.
Maybe I should look at my own shit.
If we go to a back 4, that means Max is staying. I think that goes without saying. There's no other coach. There's no other coach you would hire and you'd bring in right now.
It says right there, payable in 3 years.
He says we're playing a 5-3-2 next season. Vlad says we are not going to a back 4 if we buy another center back. I don't think we are.
We haven't been linked with. Okay, well we got Bremer Jr., but I think he's a couple years out.
He's going to the next gen. I think Giallo is going to probably. I think Giallo might become a left back.
Yes, I think Giallo's a left back, and
he is.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to.
What's new? What am I seeing? Juventus on Felipe. Okay, the Felipe Anderson stuff, and Ricardo Calafiore for the summer.
I don't.
What?
I don't see that. I don't see that. Unless Giuntoli is going to sell Man United Bremer for 100 million, I don't see that.
120,
130,
145,
160. I don't know. Like,
okay, here's the name, so I don't forget anybody. Thiago Giallo, Carlos Alcaraz. Those are labeled as the first team acquisitions. Pedro Felipe, that's Bremer Jr., is going to the next gen. Azic is going to the next gen. And Francisco Barrido is going to the U16. So there are 2 Argentines in that list. Interesting enough.
Huh.
So that was our transfer market right there. The oldest is 21. Giallo. No, Giallo's a bit older. How old is Giallo? 23. Yeah. Giallo's the oldest of that group at 23. which is pretty wild. Clearly, the focus is down the line, right? We're really focused. We know we had to replenish the next gen. That's for sure part of it. But we're not letting up on that project, which is amazing to see.
So the one thing I kind of want to push back on Vlad's comment by Calafiore, where it's like, okay, but who are we liquidating?
And it just came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere.
It's one of those things. Okay, like Calafiore, is he a decent player? Sure.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
not
something you get excited about? Is that a Juve player that I don't know?
I mean, like, because look, you got Gatti, you've got Danilo, you've got Bremer's your main three. Then you have Giallo, then you have Rugani, and then you have Dean that returns as well. So which one you're gonna have to move at least one or two.
So he's a left back and center back, 21 years. He's from Rome. He's 1.88 meters, 86 kilograms. So he's kind of big too. Interesting.
I don't, because I think our center back room is pat, and then also Facundo.
The
as
left
well.
back again is he going to be a left back?
And then Facundo is also at Sampdoria. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean there's so,
we have
the more we talk,
we have way too many center backs.
Oh my god! And Calafiore is. I'll just share the transfer market here anyway, since we're talking about him. Listed at 13 mil. He can even play a left wing back, according to this. Interesting.
I thought I gave Dave the special music. Huh.
Special
Played
music.
The like the X-Files music. Not expensive too.
Juventus center back FC.
Yeah, I heard Allegri, just to piss people off, he's gonna run a 10-1. 10-0-1.
Like it's 1901 again.
Yeah, just to piss people off. One of the best Romas. Yeah, we understand that he's amazing, but my question is who do we move and where do we put him? And Vincenzo says, "Great to Dave." Jeff says, "Alexandro's captain." That would be something Hamza would say. Fortunately, I don't get special music. You get special music, and then he says maybe the Kostic replacement.
Okay. We could talk about that, sure. Kostic. Are we getting rid of him? And then if so, sure, this starts to make sense. And Kostic will get you a few bucks. Will probably get you enough to buy a Calafiore. Again, this is more of we're playing a 4 at the back. Kostic doesn't fit that style. Maybe you're onto something.
Mm-hmm.
I guess talking through it, we can make some sense out of it. But when you just like open up whatever and you're like Calafiore, what the fuck?
What's that?
Like, when did this happen? And like, are we already talking about the summer transfer rumor? We haven't even. We spent 35 minutes on Alcaraz, and I don't even think we're done yet. And then just like, here, let's talk about Calafiore for like 6 months from now. Like, fuck, seriously?
I don't know. So let's ask you guys in the chat this, and we'll ask Dave as well. Chale. Is Chale a statement of the Scudetto?
Yeah, that is.
Do you guys think that this loan better?
Deal, I'm gonna make
this loan deal is a statement for the title.
I'm making it a poll, so because we can be cool that way.
That's true. I forgot we can do a poll.
Yeah, just give me a sec. I'm setting it up.
So
doesn't
Vlad,
mean you have to stop talking. Like,
no,
I'm just setting up.
I was reading Vlad's comment here. So Vlad, the problem is like Giallo, Calafiore, and Bremer, and all these guys want to play, and Gatti as well too. You forgot Gatti on here. Frankie. Oh, there it is. No, he's there. He's on the other end. Comment's too big. It's I don't know. Like it's just these guys all want to start, and I don't think all these defenders are okay with not starting. I think the only person that's fine is Rugani because his wife kicked him out, so he needs to get that substitution money. His wife kicked him into the J Hotel, allegedly. So I don't. I don't know.
Pulls
I'm
up,
very
guys.
confused. Polls up. Cool. Vote. So let's read some of these chants. Uh, German Dave says yes. Vlad with a blunt no. Sal comes in by saying, makes no sense to splurge that money. Got 6 months if you aren't making a title play. Eliad says we're definitely not buying him at 50. LJJ says, I don't think so. I don't think it's an intent for the Scudetto. Sal says 4. Correction there. David says you wouldn't bring a luxury loan if you don't want him specifically for a Scudetto race, which is true. Bone says, as much as I love Danilo, I think it's fine.
And that too, like
Yeah.
you're moving Danilo out in a season or two from now.
But here's the other one here. You forgot about Hoyson on this list.
And there's Hoyson. It's a lot. It really is.
Hoyson.
Who we selling?
Ideally, right? Ideally, you would want, one replacement for each member of your back line, but
Okay,
it's
let's be hypothetical. Next season, who's leaving? Sandro, we know.
yes. So
You
that
can throw
knocks down
Kostic likely into that.
but he's not a center back.
No, but we're going to 4 in the back, so that kind of takes the left back thing, right? And we have a lot of like left back, center back hybrids.
I think the only thing that's keeping us in this 5 or is a couple of things, right? Is Kostic not being able to adapt and us
Yeah.
not having a proper left back. That's one thing. If he
That's
moves,
huge.
that changes.
Yeah. So that's why I
lot.
say Kostic out, and that unlocks the 4 at the back. Because you have that money as well. Again, you sell Kostic, that can start funding some stuff. Yes, in 2025 we'll be playing the World Cup as well. And so it sounds like we're setting up for a couple years down the line as well. That's a good point where we're starting to build that depth that necessarily isn't ready now, is maybe playing the next gen, but in 2025 when we're playing 60 something games in a season,
So
kind of makes sense, yeah.
I think Jeff says, "Well, Chale bit someone's fingers." Bones, I think Hoyson gets the trash games and trophy games. Sal says Gott's either converting to the back or maybe sold if we're that deep. I don't see Gotzi being a fullback because he's too tall. He's too
Defensive
tall.
midfield. He's still a defensive midfielder. Let's be honest, guys.
Gotzi converting to the back. 2025 Club World Cup. The boy says rotation. Sal says unless we sell.
Okay, the Bremer. I guess we should talk about this Bremer to Man U thing as well. I think it's absolutely not, unless you were getting ludicrous amounts of money.
I think this is a good theory too. If we get him there as your center back that plays as a physical left back like Pep does, I could see it.
Sure. He's still pretty young though too, and I know it's just a little different with center backs that they need a little bit more time. So Calafiore is still interesting. It's more to me like we're preparing for the future. So sure, you have your Bremers. You probably keep Regani around. You got Gotti. You have your center backs essentially, right?
Yeah.
But in a couple years, maybe you do sell Bremer for over 100 million because you have a Jallo that's unlocked and Gatti is.
Well, Dean,
I don't
Facundo,
know,
and all
Dean.
those
Yes,
guys.
all these guys, so many.
But it doesn't make sense because if you essentially extend him to 29, that means he's your best guy. Like he's your guy.
The other question I have now.
You don't do that, right? I mean, that obviously, like, if you're because he's what 5 years, 4 or 5 years on his contract at this point, so it's like you don't just drop him out of nowhere like that to sell him for 120 million. That's stupid. And also, there's no club that pays over 100 for a center. I mean, it is Man United, so they've paid 60 million for a goalkeeper that can't play keep. So
well, remember pre-COVID, the bench was going for like 120.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah.
And now that poor guy can't get a minute if someone threw a clock at him. So to add more on some stuff about Charlie as well, to kind of get some speculation here. So this is what some Southampton folks have posted on social media about it. Love the guy, but he's a top manager's nightmare. Runs too much and is so out of position. Dribbles, loses the ball constantly, shoots from range all the time, has no discipline, generally pretty inconsistent. Of all the things that make him a fan favorite, extreme work rate, dribbles looks good when they come off, long shots are exciting, and everyone loves a crunching tackle.
And I saw these things when I was looking at his highlights. Those are things that the team is missing. So when I look at what he lacks, I then look at the rest of the team. I'm like, okay, we got that covered. What are we missing? We're missing that offensive midfielder that will take those long shots, will
We'll take it.
run around and be a menace in the midfield. He is those missing pieces essentially because well, Pogba's doping.
And for Joey,
But it's true. Like he's
allegedly
essentially the
recovering.
Pogba replacement, and we saw Pogba was nothing until Allegri touched him in certain places.
Stroked him, gave him the Allegri rub. So I don't know. There's like, for example, Allegri likes disciplined players to play, but at the same time, he wants creative players. I think this is why, because of this comment here, my thought is that he plays the one. If we're doing a 3-5-1-1, I could see him play that role well. I just have a very hard time because Vlad said it in Discord, which was a very good conversation where Vlad said, Allegri will not sacrifice balance. And if there's a guy in your midfield that has a very big defensive liability, I don't think he takes that chance on him. And there's no way in hell Allegri's going to coach him proper defensive stability within 6 months. This guy's never played a Serie A match or an Italian football match at all. He's played in the Premier League. Premier League is one of the tactically loose leagues in the world. So for him, I don't see it. I think it's a stopgap. It's a bandage. If it turns out well, it might be long term. And Sal says none of our mids take long range shots. Loca scoring that deflection against Milan's butt cheeks was an exception.
We all missed when Frankie's saying it, Farhad saying it. Like, we all missed those shots. What's this Dave guy talking about? Pogba's coming back in this break. And I mean, and that goes back to, okay, this is just an expensive 6-month loan because Pogba's coming back. Fajoli's coming back. All these guys are coming back. This is just, hey, we're making a Scudetto push. Let's drop 4 mil. Let's go.
I don't think, to be honest with you, the way that things are going, I don't think Fajoli has a spot in this team anymore. I don't.
Just they renewed him though.
Okay, so you get some transfer value out of it, or you loan him. I don't. To be honest, this is gonna piss people off. I think he gets either loaned or sold in the summer.
There were today, like this transfer has no joke, like just changed everything.
So here's another comment I'll read as well here that someone sent in about him. I do think earlier in the season, Martin is their coach. Martin tried to get him into the system by any means possible with the whole run of games where he played as a false 9. But over time, it's come clear that Armstrong, Smallbone, that's such a funny last name, Aribo, are far more comfortable with what he requires in the 8 role for his current possession style. So you're either using Charlie as an impact sub or shoehorning him into the attack. Juve hardly ever exercise loan options, so it's highly likely that we will get him back in the summer, but he has a good 6 months. There will be that will only add to his transfer value.
This is one of the best Southampton perspective comments that I've seen.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Now, I think if he needs to learn a defensive phase of the game, he's come to the right spot.
Yeah.
And by giving him that defensive phase, and not saying he's going to turn this kid into a defensive midfielder or whatever, but just bring some of those attributes up where he can be reliable to come back and support. That will definitely move his transfer value up a whole shit ton because he's already considered an all-round type defensive midfielder. What if he's just an all-round everything midfielder now? If he's already valued at 50, what does he become then? Allegri might... Again, I'll go back to Pogba. How much value did we end up getting out of Pogba at the end of the tenure there?
How much?
Well, I'm not talking about now since he come back, but like initially when you sold him, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's old Pogba, version 1 of Pogba, not now Pogba.
So look at this other one here. So it says, even though he hasn't been great this season, I would be gutted if he leaves, even on a loan. He can be a real asset for us. Let's be real. Juve won't pay that clause to buy him unless he has an absolute blinding few months with them. We would be making our squad depth weaker, getting rid of a player who tries different things and does have a moment of magic in him. I would also be less impressed if we were viewing Rothwell as his replacement. So that's that. And
But
then this one here.
4 million for a championship club for 6 months is a pretty decent payday as well.
Yeah. It's a shame, but he has done more for us than he had to, sticking with us to relegation and signing a new contract despite being stuck on the bench with most of the season. If Juventus come calling, you can hardly blame him for wanting to go, like you and I very much doubt, and take up that option once they have a close look at him. So they're skeptical on Juve. I mean, we're all skeptical too, right? Unless a different environment really works for him, I don't think there's much of a blow to our promotion chances, given that he's hardly featured this season and has not done much when
Hardly. He's featured in 50% of your minutes. Like, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit. That's cope. I think that's 100%
ridiculous.
Is apparently my Fajoli take.
Yeah, people don't like a Fajoli take,
which is fine, right? I get it. I don't have any like fanboy love for him. That's probably why, but. Yeah, see, I have fanboy love for Fajoli. It's fair, right? I understand it. For me, the whole gambling situation it kind of puts me off in a sense, right? Like, I don't see him as that dude anymore. Because it's just, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, he'll get his chance in the summer, right? To really staple it. Because I really think that there's going to be a huge competition in the summer of who stays and who leaves. Like, it's going to happen. Fajoli's
I think we still need the depth of the Champions League now as well. We're going to be fighting 3 fronts again next year. And then 4 fronts the season after. So,
yeah, Fajoli's unique field there. My wet dream would be getting Tony Cruz to mold Fajoli into his role.
You like when it's you like those pornos, eh? Where it's the old one teaching the young one.
I believe that is called grooming. David says, we aren't taking a chance on a player. We have to teach defense during the Scudetto race. There has to be a reason why they wanted him. Either they see the defensive capabilities in him or he's the Yildiz backup.
Yeah, I'm thinking more long-term, though, right? Like, I don't think there's any magic happening in 6 months, but then you give him the summer. Let's say we go in on him. You give him the summer and then a full season. I think you could over... Yeah, by the end of, say, next year, have a fairly defensively mind. At least have that idea in his head. Is maybe he's not the greatest guy, but he's going to know, defensive phase of play. Like, he'll have that mindset more so.
Possibly. I think he might be able to learn positioning and whatnot, which would mean we have absolutely... Well, that's the other thing, too. Yes. This is the other thing that's going to get thrown into it as well.
How much money do you get from a Chiesa to finance this deal? 50 plus?
Because if he can play that 10 role, if he's able to dribble, create passes, and take long shots, what do you do with Freddie? What do you do with Fede?
You sell him.
You sell
for 50 plus million. And I don't know. I know it sounds crazy.
It's all speculation, guys. Like if you get butthurt, you get butthurt.
Okay, like, I think it's screw it. We're talking about Fede. The hat's on.
Like I don't know, right? There's so much. I can't believe one transfer has caused us to sit here for 53 minutes trying to break this shit down.
Yeah.
Like we're so confused. So this one, I don't know how much credence there is to it because like when you read at the official Juventus PDF, that is what is there on the table. The whole like if he plays more, it goes down. If that's hearsay at this point. Like there's no actual guarantees that we have on it. They're saying supposedly the fee goes down if he plays more, which is stupid on Southampton's part. Because let's be honest here. If I loan you a player with a buyback option of 55 or 60 million, that to me has a statement of intent that I really don't want to sell him, but I also don't want him to rot on the bench. So if I were Southampton, that would be extremely stupid on my part for me to say, oh, by the way, if you play him a lot, his buyout goes down significantly.
I think that's Gentoli pushing that, though.
Unless could it be? But even then, if you're Southampton, you're getting fleeced if that's the case.
Not really, though, because how much is it decreasing? Maybe there's a floor, and it's no less than, say, 45 million. They're still getting a lot of money. Now, if it's something like it can go down to 30 million, then Gentoli has clearly cooked. But I don't think it's anything too drastic. And that's the problem. Yes, this information has been released that... Yes, as far as says here, the more he plays, the fee decrease. I haven't heard this side. If he doesn't play very much, it will increase.
It's got to be the loan fee.
Yeah, again, it's just this part of the situation has not really come out from a solid source, and the source, was it Sky, is just like, yeah, we don't really have any numbers. This is just some general information we have, so it's really tentative.
Yeah,
I love how Jeff is vibing off Sam Adamo here.
for Joey. I look. I think there's a lot of skepticism. I think we can hold the right to reserve the skepticism, or it's even so when you look at a lot of the moves that's going on, it's all skepticism, right? Like for example, Gintoli coming in out of nowhere with Giallo and Chale, because Weah's not really I don't think Gintoli was there when Weah was purchased. I think Weah was coming regardless.
Yeah, that was a pretty low fee, anyways, right? Weah, I don't know if he's ever gonna break out into like a full starter once this team is completely established.
So, and like for example, the whole like Moise Keane or the Bonaventura, because Juve, I believe, we're trying to leverage Keane to send him to Fiorentina for Bonaventura.
Yeah.
Bellotti went to Fiorentina, so like they've got a striker, big air quotes. So I'll play the music for him because he said I didn't play it for him. So here we go. Tinfoil hat series that really bought him 2 year case that we will go all out to use him or shut up. Chale, depending on what Chiesa does. Could be.
That is not a horrible theory.
I don't think it's a bad theory. You guys have theories. Slap that shit out there. Vlad says Chiesa to Southampton or Brighton under De Zerbi. I don't think De Zerbi is going to be Brighton's coach next year at his current pace. He's only got 3 wins.
Guys, the coaching carousel. Speaking of which, Mourinho to Man U is the new thing on the street.
Apparently, going back to Man U because Mourinho's like fucking Thanos at this point.
I could see him do it.
That'd be hilarious.
I want him to.
Ten Hog.
That guy needs to get fired.
That guy needs to be at the soup kitchen. I'd really like to see Mota with Juve next season if Allegri decides to leave. I don't know if he does.
And Reno was really like thrown aback that you joined his channel there the other night.
Really?
Yeah, Antonio was there, and he's like, I haven't seen him yet. He was like so excited but confused for some reason.
That's funny.
It's like, I haven't seen him before. It's like, no, this guy, because I was in the chat. It's like, no, he's been around.
He's cool. He's a cool guy. Antonio's awesome. Okay, so Vlad says with clap out, I'm not sure that Liverpool wants Chiesa anymore. Any crazy Premier League club will drop money on it. So real tinfoil stuff. So I'll play you the music so you feel happy. Real tinfoil stuff. Barca goes after Chiesa in the summer.
They have to go after a coach first, I think.
Yeah, they have to go after a coach and possibly sell the souls of their unborn children to get money for that. Jeff says, my question is, why did Atletico pull away from the Keane?
He wasn't healthy.
He couldn't, so he would take about a month and a half to be at full fitness. And Atletico said, fuck that. Or in a lack of a better terms, I think they went,
Jesus. So essentially, Juve said Keane's going to be healthy like late February. When he did the medical test, their doctor says like, no, it's looking more like March. And they're like, we're not paying this money for like 3 months of work at best.
Yeah, really. And that was the main reason. So David says, guys, this price will never be triggered. We can get Semerich and Coop Miners if we wanted to splash that amount of money. This is some shenanigans that Gintoli did behind the scenes for some reason. Possibly. Let him cook.
Unless this reduced fee is actually a ridiculous amount, and I don't know. Does he just like throw him in for 5 minutes? And does he have to start? Does he have to play a certain amount of those minutes? Is it 15 minutes, or does he have to like show up for 30 seconds? Again, it was just like he has to make an appearance, and it's like throw him on for 30 seconds every game, and then pay these guys 30 million for him. Who knows? It could be stupid. It's probably not that stupid.
That's actually funny. Barca have 2.7 million budget cap space to build a whole new coaching staff next year. Holy shit. And 1.2 billion you got. I see the German Dave is not abandoning the Sammerdick train. Choo choo.
I straight out just type Sam's dick.
All right. I know somebody asked. I need to pull it up because the whole Daniele Rugani. So we got this from obviously this is shenanigans, guys. We're bullshitting around here. We're having some fun here. From Mathis Pog. This came out, I believe, yesterday. So it came out yesterday here, where I need to delete. Oh, I gotta switch screens. That's funny. So our good friend Daniele Rugani checks into the J Hotel with a shit ton of baggage and on his own.
That is a lot of baggage when
That
you
is
live
a
in that city.
lot of baggage. Very, very big baggage. I think something happened and it just kind of left him in a point where maybe he did something and his wife just kind of told him to.
Like, what do you say fuck me for?
I mean, that's kind of what happened to him.
Now
Rugani.
his suitcase has an airline tag on it, so that's interesting, right? Did he just come from the airport, or did he forget to take it off?
So they're saying that the door to his house would not open. So how do you have all that luggage if you can't get into your house? Like
Maybe that's his traveling kit that he keeps at the stadium. He's like, fuck, I gotta use this.
What's that?
I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for him. He has a pillow. Like, yeah, me. I don't know.
How do you have that? Like how do you get kicked out of your house? Or locked out? I said kicked out. Locked out. You probably got kicked out.
Yeah. And I mean, these are footballers, right? Half that suitcase could be just shoes.
It could be. That's like how? Like how? I don't understand it. It seems like a lot of equipment to move into a hotel room.
Yeah, these guys are prima donnas, right?
That's his kid. That's his kid too. She probably kicked the kid out too.
Oh yeah, the kid's sitting. You can barely see it. The
Sitting on the luggage.
suitcase.
The kid's sitting on the suitcase.
Okay, he didn't get kicked out of the house if he has the kid. No, the wife would not let if she just kicked the dude out of the house, she's not letting him leave the kid.
Maybe he took the kid. He's like, F you, I'm taking the kid. I said his wife got mad because he left her dog with the wrong kind of food. That's mob wife stuff right there. David, he did the Ocho Cinco and slept at the training facility to save money. That one's worthy of the Cartman laugh.
I like this when he's helping Moisey with the luggage back from Madrid.
Hey, yeah, you throw in your best theories in the chat. Maybe he's going to do laundry.
Yeah, that's saving money. I'm just going to the hotel and do some
Let
laundry.
me just go to the hotel and use the quarter machine or the euro machine. This post had me dying while at school. David says, "Hey Vlad, I got a question for a fellow on a fellow Serbian." Okay, this will be fun. Frankie. Oh, also, we never announced this like publicly, but we did cross 1.9K in subscribers.
Very true. So we need to start yelling that we're on the road to 2,000. And I'm under good at the Farthead, are you still here? I have a feeling maybe he left. He came in for a few words. I am under. Okay, shut that shit up. Jesus Christ, that one's too long.
Just let me revel in it. Damn.
Too long. So I am under the authority of Farthead's fine word, for what it's worth, that the hoodies are coming.
I thought they were back.
They're apparently he apparently has the hoodies.
Yeah, they're restocked, I think.
Let's check. Let's check live because I checked the other night. Because I've been waiting.
You guys should be able to order hoodies now.
I've been waiting very patiently. I'm checking live, guys. Yeah. Let you know.
Bepe's Telegram, Max Allegri renewing with Juventus with Calafiori and Coop Miners in addition. That's Fabiana Della Valle. I don't really trust anything she says anymore. She has been off the wall.
She had one right thing.
One good thing, and then after that, no. David says, did you watch any Chelsea this season? I believe you guys sent me something in the Discord about Chelsea, calling them a banter. So let's see if I can find it, and I'll throw it on there. And then we'll talk about the refereeing and some shenanigans. All right, so the video that David has sent me. Ooh, okay. So we've got some Banta here. Go into the full screen here.
I think Guido is new. Guido Bianchi.
Guido is new.
Unless he'd been a lurker, but welcome. He is saying, I think the pillow makes sense if he was traveling. And Sam, where have you been? So long. It's been so long, man. Saying, what's up, boys?
All right. So this is what Dave sent me. So he wanted to make fun of Chelsea. So we'll hit this because it's quick. So we got a little bit of a bounce.
A little bit.
What is that?
A little bit of a bounce.
A little bit of a bounce. That's absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. I said atrocious.
Atrocious.
Atrocious. Like, what kind of defense is that? Like, what is that? He basketball.
almost
He
looked like-
swatted it. He
Yeah,
dribbled
is
it.
that a handball there? Pretty sure it went off somebody's hand.
No, wait. The Chelsea player slapped it with his hands. Look.
Was it?
He stuck his hands out and
Yeah,
slapped.
it was. It was, yeah.
What is that?
Oh, man, that's funny.
Holy hell. Bro, basketball. My dude is in the wrong sport. Gave him a straight dime.
We got basketball players. We got tennis players. Sam, there's a good point, too. The fact that the option is there is forcing management to think instead of just straight out buy completely.
Yeah.
Test the player out, kick the tires.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
Ellen's back. I think she's gonna want to make out with me again. Yeah. Wait, there she is.
Up. That.
Oh, girl.
There she is. Okay, so we've got this. They released the refereeing officiating, and then there's a couple of, and we'll talk about this, the Derby d'Italia refereeing debacle.
It's a stacked
shenanigans.
crew.
It's a stacked crew, but also there was the article with Orisato apparently rejecting. I gotta find where it is. I don't remember because you guys.
I
always
put it in.
You put that in? Is it in the general?
Probably.
Yeah, you got it in the general. Okay. Oh gosh, we're giving that site a click.
I know, right?
Damn it. Dude.
After I posted, because I actually saw it through OneFootball, and when I posted it, it said Semper Inter. I'm like, fuck.
They gave it a view. All right, so let's talk about this because we're gonna finish the second half of the show on refereeing. So Juventus got. So let's go here. Official from Forza Juventus. Official Fabio Maresca will officiate the game between Juve and Inter in the San Siro on Sunday, and Irati. Oh, fuck.
I know, right?
Will be the VAR referee. Good lord. And Juve got 2 red cards in the last 2 away games under Marschetta Di Maria versus Monza, Keane versus Roma. So yikes. Oh boy.
And you know what's funny? So, do you have the actual article?
Yeah, I do.
So,
Hop over.
don't forget Delict is the best volleyball player.
I bet you DeLitt was topping that off saying, shit, I wish I could do that.
He might have played that. Okay, so what I'm a little tweaked about in this article, and it's Semper Inter, so it makes sense.
Right?
Because they're Inter fans, so they're hurt. They're hurt. They'll always be hurt. They can't get over it. They can't man up. But it takes forever.
Get the likes up.
And absolutely get the likes up while we're at it, especially while we're trashing Inter, because I know you guys love it.
Oh, throw a thumbs up for us dogging Inter.
Yeah. I'll go for days if you want me to. Just give me the thumbs up. But they are talking about how they're happy that Orsato is not reffing because a call that he made that he didn't make. He didn't give Miralem Pjanic the second yellow in 2018, 6 fucking years ago. Are you 6 fucking years ago, guys? Get over it, you fucking retards! What's wrong with you? You're an Inter fan, is what's wrong with you? Okay, I understand. I answered my own question. Let's move on.
All right. So Daniele Orisato won't referee Inter Milan versus Juventus Serie A clash, but not due to Inter vetoing it.
This is it.
Definitely Inter vetoed it. That's 100%.
If you have to mention it, it's because it happened.
Yeah, it happened. So according to today's print edition of the Rome-based newspaper La Repubblica, via FC News, the Lega Serie A has now confirmed that Mascara. I'm just calling him Mascara. Just call him Mascara. F that guy. Will be in charge of Sunday's match. There are only ever a few candidates for a match of such importance. The priority of the league was, of course, one of the top referees in Italian football on a match that has essentially being a title decider. Mascara is one such official, but so is Orisato. In fact, the latter was arguably regarded as even more accomplished than the referee Mascara. The pair will be Italy's 2 representatives in the upcoming Euros, so clearly would be surprising to pick. Would be a surprising pick over the two. Orisato is the one with the most experience, most established reputation. I don't really mind Orisato as a referee. Like, as a ref, I'm fine with Orisato, but Mascara, I'm a little bit concerned with Mascara. So the other considerations behind the league decision to point Mascara instead of Orisato, namely the latter history in the Derby d'Italia. Orisato drew the ire of Inter players and staffs with the one decision match between the Nerazzurri in 2018, where Orisato failed to send off Miralem Pjanic.
I love how you're adding an I into his name, but just roll with it.
Yeah, whatever.
Vlad calls him the mascara guy.
The mascara guy. For some reasons, politics and optics, Lega Serie A has declined to put him in charge of the match. Because one club bitches, and they want to say Calciopoli. Calciopoli was only Juventus. Juventus was the only ones that wanted referees and blah blah blah. Y'all motherfuckers are preferring referees for this match. That tells me how much you're fucking scared.
Yeah, and Elon's got it right here. I'm just happy it's not Massa or Doverde, because those are the absolute worst.
I think Massa, last time Massa was reported, he was in Serie C reffing a game. I don't know. Massa's pretty much done. Look, you guys are hypothetically as stacked as a roster as you bleepers are on paper. You're afraid of a squad that doesn't really have a good bench, that has a guy that makes out with girls with his eyes open, two Americans,
Two of them,
a Polish guy that does a really terrible Allegri impersonation.
Well, hold on. They have an American and a Canadian. Isn't that worse?
And a Canadian. Well, they have a Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, they have an American and Canadian. We have two Americans.
That's fair. That's fair. You have a guy that was a bricklayer and a guy that was a former fullback converted into a center back, and you're scared to the point that you want to dictate who officiates this game because of, guess what? Something that happened, 6 years ago?
It's just like so dumb.
6 years ago?
Yes, and the
Holy
famous
hell.
Vlad saying here, the famous Doverde backpack, the luggage, seen with an Inter sticker going through the airport, and a gambler.
I bet you he was their first choice was Dovere, but like Serie A was like, nah. Nah.
Oh, we have a gambler and a doping scandal. Yeah, I suppose we have that. We
Like-
always have something.
Like, are we past the point? Like, you guys are such a bunch of crybabies. What a joke of a club.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's getting bad in general. And even when have you seen them complain about the reffing?
But like, think about IFTV made a whole skit about it. Like the fact that
Did you watch that, by the way?
I did not want to.
I did not. Let us know if you watched that IFTV one. It was way too long for me to like sit there and watch that, but I'm interested to hear from you guys.
I'm pretty sure Paramount Plus was holding a gun to their head saying, no, you can't say anything bad about our sponsors. Because it was Antonio versus Marco and Peter. So it's like, it's not even fair. Like, really?
Which one's the sex addict?
Who? There's a sex addict? Sex addict?
They're Italian, are they not all sex addicts?
I need to take a nap. Look, if Football Italia posted an article saying that Juve were doing the same exact thing, I would be pissed.
Oh yeah, I would. I'd be like, this club's a fucking joke.
Like the fact that Sempre Inter thought it was a great idea to post it. And the funny part is the title of the article literally says, "Oh, he won't be there, but it's not because we vetoed him." Totally not it. And then when they quote the mixed emotions of this guy, they bring up something that happened 6 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I mean, you really got to move on from that, you know.
Huh?
But they're also complaining about Calciopoli still, even though they're the ones that came out ahead, but they're still going to complain about it.
Like seriously.
Only No, it's not just Floridians. You guys are just, you're just the ones with the strap-ons.
Upside down pineapples. I should have watched that video and we could have covered it a little bit more in depth. Like they made I think it was like a video where it says, is there actually a podcast? What the hell am I thinking of podcast? Is there actually a refereeing issue in Serie A? And it's just kind of like,
Well, did you see that thing from Gravina I posted that today too.
Is that
That should be in general.
it's in general?
Pretty
So
sure.
I'll pull it up then.
I start with the general while I'm taking a shit in the morning and I go from there.
I start with general while I take a dump, and then I move on from there. I'm trying to find it. I cannot find it.
Maybe. Okay, well, we'll move on. I'll try to find something here.
Okay. So I look, I don't understand. Like for a club, they're in first place. They're in first place.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they whining about? Oh yeah, we don't want to referee because of a second yellow card. Has Juve ever done that recently? Like Gravina or the AIA was just like, yeah, Massa, you done fucked up. You're done. And it was like a blatant fuck up. I can't believe that. That to me just baffles the hell out of me.
Maybe I didn't put in the Discord.
No, I don't think you did because I can't find it.
But there's this other thing Sal put on. Or, no, it's Frankie here. Premier League referees to explain VAR decisions.
Yeah, I was going to share that.
Yeah, we can get into that.
So we'll kind of add to that as well.
Yeah, Vlad thought that was actually
no, that was Sam. No,
until we brought Sam on, it's like that's the guy.
That's the guy.
And I mean, since
Eureka,
since we're here, really,
he wants us. There's two things that he wants us.
Calcio is life. I like Calcio. I like IFTV. Look, I'm wearing a Calcio hat.
That was a Sam bit. So I mean, obviously Vlad's gonna want this, and then when you play that bit, you have to play this one.
You just wake up and then your heart is just pumping. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so those moments are crazy.
That's
okay, and I do have the article, so whenever we're ready, we'll jump back into that as well.
Okay, cool.
But this is actually interesting, and I think it's something we've even mentioned before, that like, why can't they just tell us what they're doing? Why can't they have transparency so there's never any question? Why is it when there's a controversial call, they don't show the replay? This is a step in the right direction, assuming they do it right.
Yeah, assuming as they do it correctly. And then could you imagine just hearing some of the comments? Muppet, we absolutely fucked up this offside call. I don't know. Just play the match. No. Premier League referees to explain VAR decisions to fans for next season. Football's lawmakers have trialed a system that allows for fans to hear VAR decisions over the past 12 months. Hey, here's the thing. It's called play your fucking microphone in a stadium. It's not that hard. You have a bunch of old farts in the NFL that do it and say, hey, after review of the play, the fat guy over there tackled the guy really hard. It made him cream so bad. First down Chargers. Like, I don't understand. You need a trialing for it. Anthony Taylor among the English officials who have been involved. Official confirmation expected in the coming weeks. Okay.
I understand why they wouldn't just do it mid-season. That does make sense, though.
Yeah, you're not going to do that mid-season. It's going to be something you start in the summer. So footballing lawmakers, the International Football Association Board, IFAB. That is such a funny acronym. Have been trialing such a system over the past 12 months in various countries across the globe that includes games in this. Frankie, you got to look into this, Frankie. You got to tell me if they're doing that shit in Mexico.
Like, why do I have a feel they got that memo and they were just like, no, no, we're not doing that.
Que está un pendejo aquí con la falta, una la carta afuera con la juego. Like just some shit like that'd be hilarious. I just can't imagine Mexico taking that seriously. And Portugal and now set to bring the title to the Premier League.
Can you answer this one?
Y'all give me a week, man. I'm still mourning that loss. Just give me a week.
So Jeff asking, what's worse, telling referees or Dan Campbell's play calling scheme? So if you didn't catch it, the Detroit Lions completely shot themselves in the dick this past weekend because he's an aggressive coach, so he decided to go for the conversion when he should have just kicked.
Look,
and fucked it all up.
In his defense, Josh Reynolds dropped the fucking ball. Absolutely dropped the ball.
No, I don't think you can defend that call.
What?
That was a dumb call.
The 4th and 2 where he dropped the ball?
No, when he decided to throw instead of kick at the 20. Because he needed a kick, he needed the 3 points, and then he needed a touchdown. Either way.
Yeah,
if you're fourth down and you're in kicking range, kick the fucking ball and try to recover and get the touchdown out. Secure the points while you can secure them.
Well, that and also, why would you do a run play when you burn a timeout at the end of the game?
And
That was
listen, I don't even watch
the
football.
last 2 minutes was stupid. The last 2-3 minutes of that game was stupid. But the one where Josh Reynolds dropped the ball, I agreed with that play call. Like it made sense. Just Josh Reynolds dropped the ball. Just let me mourn, man. Just give me some days. Let me mourn. You guys are just
All I got to say is I don't even watch football, and I watched that game, and I'm like, that coach fucked up.
LJJ says, "Are you a Lions fan? I live in Detroit, so yes. By default, I have subscribed to misery. Just when I thought I had joy for 12 months, I had misery within 15 minutes of that was an absolute choke job. Just please leave me alone. Let me mourn."
Yeah, you guys left just me and German Dave alone because we're like, oh, you guys did the wrestling watch party last night.
I was watching it at a spot. Like, what do you want me to do?
But everyone, the whole Discord, you just left me and Dave alone. It's fine. It was romantic.
Okay, well, we watched the Royal Rumble. That shit was fun.
Yeah, we were trying to keep it going the next night. I got no sleep this weekend because of you fuckers.
Clearly. According to Daily Mail, IFAB is expected to confirm the introduction of this system before the general meeting in March. The Premier League clubs would need to approve the introduction for the new process when they meet in June. Premier League, Anthony Taylor has already used the system at the Club World Cup in January 2023, where the trial was extended to the under-20 games, Women's World Cup, and now various leagues across the globe. Okay, Premier League's Howard Webb. You guys remember Howard Webb? Referee's chief? That guy? If you guys don't remember who Howard Webb is...
Remind us.
Oh...
Because it's not ringing a bell right now.
Fergie time?
Fergie time? Do we have... See if that's a thing. Fergie, could we bring that up?
Like Sir Alex Ferguson. That's what I mean, Fergie time. Not
yeah,
like
but there's...
Not the singer Fergie.
No, I know. Fuck. Just seeing if there's any media. There's nothing really.
Okay.
What is...
Your screen. Look at the screen.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to find something good.
Howard Webb.
No, I was looking at Fergie time to see if there's like a good GIF or something.
So with Fergie time, so Howard Webb would just give Man United a ridiculous amount of extra time, so they called it Fergie time.
This makes sense. I'm looking at GIFs that weren't actually like GIFing, which kind of didn't help me out. But here we go.
He was extremely suspect because people thought that he was an inside gig for Man United to win as much as they won.
I think this one explains it.
Yeah. Howard Webb, absolute monstrosity. Did you find that article that you wanted to share?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah, we can switch over because that one's done.
Okay. Now all I have is Fergie time. Okay, here we go.
What? You used the same tab?
No, I did. Just all the tabs came up. It's like Fergie time everywhere. But alas, Gabriella Gravina, this twat. So I don't know why warning us first off here that reducing the Serie A to 18 teams is only the beginning. If they want to keep dancing on the Titanic, then I'll stop the music. What does that even mean? Who's dancing?
Dave, you're
going to stop the music? Why? Reducing the league by 2 teams? Like,
Dave, adjust your screen because it makes it look really tiny. I think you got to go 2/3. I think you're at the full.
Yeah, I'm just getting mad. Leave me alone. Let me get mad.
Okay.
Here we go. That's a lot more legible for y'all. Yeah, so I mean, it starts off with a horrible quote. I'm hoping it's one of these things that's lost in translation. Perhaps he's just that misspoken. This guy. He definitely looks like a no-no, like dementia no-no. Like not really there, but you love him because he says really retarded shit there at the dinner. What? Like Sam, he's a Sam Adamo. That's Sam Adamo in 75 years.
He looks like he just has a grudge. Like he just honestly looks like he has a grudge against something.
He looks like every no. He's just pissed off at something. It doesn't matter what. He could still be pissed off at Mussolini for losing the war. I don't know.
Okay. He's like, I bet you it wasn't Agnelli that stopped it all.
Oh man,
what if an Agnelli stole his girlfriend? Maybe he's just been holding that for forever.
I hope the girlfriend was younger. Jesus. Okay, so this is where it starts getting funny. In the opening 21, there were 206 Serie A games with 1,076 VAR checks. Of those checks, there were 91 errors, 82 of which were corrected. not 91. Okay, cool. Looking at the percentages, if VAR was not there, we would have had 8.49% errors, but it was reduced to 0.84%. That is a drop from 0. Congratulations, you've cooked the numbers. Instead of saying we've made mistakes and we're gonna fix them, they're like, oh, we've reduced our mistakes from 0.89% of the calls to 0.84. Fuck you, nobody cares. It's still trash. What you're trying to tell me is that, because as he goes on, further on, let's see, various leagues and federations call us to ask for our referees in the most important matches, but in Italy, people still cannot seem to grasp their quality. Yes, when the Democratic Republic of Congo asks for your referees, congratulations, that place is a fucking shithole. You shouldn't be proud that your referees are going there to ref. It's like, hey, there's a massive pile of shit. I'm just a shart. I'm doing fucking great. Congratulations, I'm less shitty than the next guy. This is stupid. You're conceding defeat. You're basically saying that the whole system is so shit, but we're just slightly less shitty. We're above the shit average.
Didn't I say that a while ago?
Yeah,
like,
I think
didn't we beat that horse before? Because like FIFA refereeing co-coordinator is Italian, so the UEFA, CONCACAF, various leagues and federations call for us to ask for our referees in the most important match. That's how it's always been. It's not like you've done anything better. Back then, almost every single final, pending an Italian team, was exclusively Italian referees.
And then he's like, the problem of reform in Italian football is not just that, and I am stunned that it is being reduced the number of clubs. I find that offensive. It's what? Okay, maybe there's an issue where people are complaining that they want to reduce the number. Of course they're reducing because there's going to be a couple teams. There's less. It's a money thing. I get it. People will be upset. There's going to be winners and losers in that. But tell me if this isn't deflecting. You're up here talking about our reffing's not that bad. Oh, but we're talking about 20 to 18. What are you talking about? Are you talking about how shit your refereeing is? Or are we talking about how many teams are playing in the league next year? Because it sounds like to me, you don't know what the fuck's going on and you're spinning us all in circles in hopes that we get confused and you walk away from this. But guess what, Gabriella? You're a fucking idiot and I can read through this shit. And guess what? I just told the whole fucking world. Everyone now knows, if they haven't already, that you fucking suck at life. Yeah, you can reduce to 0 errors. It's like, hey, we have... Yeah, you're just gloating that you have errors. Cool. Good story. And now there's a billionaire version of Trey songs. I don't know what this is.
So, like, I don't understand, like, any of this. Like, for example, Mike Mignon, that one game, I think it was against Genoa, where the guy literally Spartan kicked a dude outside of the box.
Yeah.
That was a straight red card. I don't understand why people are losing their mind over it. That should have been a red card.
And Reno, every chance to like, fuck Marco.
And Reno just doesn't like him. This is the time where Italy as a nation should be united together and change for a better future. Like, I don't understand how you can, in good faith, tell and convince an audience or tell anybody as Serie A president, or even anybody in general, anybody that claims to have intelligence, you can't come in here and with good faith saying our refereeing is good. Or if you come at me and you say our refereeing is better than England, oi, mate, it's not an accomplishment. Like, since when has England brought forth good referees? Juve, you guys remember the Real Madrid game, the whole Benezia that wasn't a penalty thing? That was thanks to Mr. Michael Oliver. Malinowski breaking legs. Like, guys, I took off my Juve glasses with having this conversation. And I'm telling you, as a dude that watches the game, these refs blow.
They're bad.
They blow.
The fact of the matter is there's a worldwide issue in refereeing across all sports, all nations.
It is.
So what adults, high-performing adults, people that want to, work at the top of their industry, in this case, football, they don't say, oh well, we've only made these many mistakes, and it's like a couple less than last year. So I mean, we're doing no high performing adults will be like, this isn't good enough. What is the actual real problem? Why are there errors in the first place? I don't know how 18, 20, 16 teams has anything to do with the refereeing in this article. No idea. But the fact of the matter is, if you're an intelligent human being, Mr. Gravina, you wouldn't be making excuses of why you're less shit. Instead, you would be accepting the fact that you are shit and looking for solutions. Going to Deloitte to restructure the financing of the league, I'm sorry, has nothing to do with how shit your refereeing is.
I can't see shit. I gotta put these back on. Sorry.
Yeah, you're as blind as the fucking Italian referees.
Blind as the fucking bat. I just cut you off for no reason. I'm still not over that Champions 18 game. So Nintendo says, Marco said, referees favor big teams, and Antonio said, by big teams you mean Inter. Woo!
Nice. So a couple guys did watch this. Maybe I should put this one on.
I should probably, but
I was never a big IFTV fan, anyways. To be honest, I was never.
I like to listen to Gaetano and Antonio because they're older guys. They give you a different perspective. You learn things from the old school.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I never listened to them, but I was never like locked into them.
Yeah, I was never entirely locked into them. Like look, as people and individuals, I don't know them. I'm not going to comment on them as individuals and people, right? As content creation or the content that they're producing, it's a different story, right? Where it's like, I think there's a little bit of biases, maybe due to monetary or financial ties to who they have their ties to, because, you know, let's keep it a buck. Some of the stuff you just kind of sit there and you're like, what the hell? And it's fair, right? Because, like, for example, they're doing this to make money. Dave and I are doing this to, you know, shits and giggles. If we were, you know, if we had a huge sponsor or benefactor, we might have to change our tone because they're paying the bills. Where it's right now, we're loosey-goosey because we're funding ourselves.
We're pretty much going to get, like, male baldness pills, ball trimmers.
Blue Chew. Or, yeah, it's called Blue Chew. So, yeah, guys with erectile dysfunction, subscribe to the Turin Giants. Discount code TG to get yourself pretty gigante with Blue Chew.
You already got the pitch.
I swear to God, that would actually be a really damn good ad. If we were sponsored by Blue Chew, be your own Turin Giant with Blue Chew. Problems with getting a hard-on or a chubby? Try Blue Chew. Because you'll be the giant of Turin in your bedroom for one pill a day.
It works. It does work. Blue Chew. I have no idea. That must be an American thing. I haven't heard of you yet. I am assuming you give people a hard-on.
It's a new Viagra. I mean, my only thing right now, so like, I wish I saved that damn chart, but there's a chart. So it's, you know, you can take it as it is, right? You can say Dash is talking out of his ass. It's nonsense, whatever. There is a chart that tallies the amount of offenses committed and the amount of yellow cards that are punishable by it.
The infamous chart.
Unfortunately, I don't remember where it is. I showed it on one of these videos. We have it. We have video evidence of it. It's on one of these videos. David says the chart with yellow cards. David, if you can send me the chart with yellow cards, you will be my hero. So I can actually have it as a visual prop. But to give you guys context, out of all the teams in the league, out of offense like fouls committed, Inter have a huge minority in yellow cards that were given to those fouls.
Well, I have actually fought Mob, so what we got was probably just shared straight off stats. Inter 29, second place at 39, Atalanta. Scroll down, Juve 52.
So when you look at the discrepancy here, like the fair play points, right? Look at 1 and 2. That is a huge difference.
Go the other way, yeah.
So that to me shows that there's a lot of discrepancies. And dare I say, you know, let's play the music for this one. And I'm a little bit far away from it.
So
1 + 1 is 2. These guys are trying to tell you 1 + 1 is 3 at this point because there's a correlation, guys. Like, come on, man. Everybody's averaging within the 50 range, whether it's low 60s. Some teams you might have as an anomaly as a high 60, but predominantly mid 50s, low 50s, and then you have fucking 29.
And now when we're talking about going back to IFTV and their horrible takes, how do they favor the big teams? Well, let's see which big teams are here. Inter. Atlanta, sort of. Fiorentina, sort of. No. Juventus in 10th. Okay. Now, I'm going by the aggregate points, so they have some sort of formula where they calculate yellows, yellow reds, and then yellow reds plus. I don't know. They have some formula going on here. So that's what I'm organizing it by. Lecce is at the worst. If you're going straight yellows, so Lecce is still the worst. Juve is the 4th worst. Inter is the best. Let's go by, what is this stat anyways? Second yellows. That's what that is. Second yellows. No, we haven't actually got any second yellows. Oh, a bunch of teams haven't. So like Inter, there's yeah. That's not a great stat because places 14th to 20th are at 0. Just straight reds now.
No, I wish we had that chart because that chart actually depicts it really well. Is like total.
They
effective,
simplify it.
Yeah, they do. They simplify it really well, but unfortunately, I just don't have it on hand anymore. But look, come on, like,
but again, like Inter leads. Doesn't matter how I filter this. Every time I filter, and yes, there's a few where they're tied in first, but every single filter, they have the least infractions. And then when you look, where are these other teams? You got Milan, you have Roma, Napoli, Lazio, Juve. So do the refs favor the big teams, or
really
do they favor Inter? By these stats, now again, it's only one side of the story here, but from this angle,
it begs a conversation, right? It begs the conversation to be had, because like, how many of you guys saw Lautaro's goal against Fiorentina, where he kind of shoves Parisi out of the way?
Yeah.
So he shoves Parisi out of the way. No VAR, no concern whatsoever. Moise Keane kind of allegedly slaps a dude in the face and has a goal taken away. So it's like, where you have Lautaro absolutely truck a guy, move him out of the way, fair play, clean, but Keane is doing hold-up play. Hey, let's call that back because the guy looked like he got shot in the face, and then turns out he was diving. That's what I have with the issue. Maybe you can say it's interfavoritism. I'm not gonna go and say it's. My argument isn't interfavoritism. It's a subplot to it. My argument is the refereeing sucks ass. It sucks ass. It really is. I don't give a shit about helping good teams, bad teams, blah, 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 blah. Guys, the refereeing is atrocious. Stop saying that the refereeing is good or fine. It's not good.
Whoever said that is just living in an alternate universe.
Like, the fact that you have the audacity to sit here and say, oh, the refereeing is good. No, it's not.
It's pretty trash. It's straight up like dumpster fire. It's bad.
You've essentially caused the issue right now. The issue is it's a paradox. You brought in VAR and referees are like, well, shit.
Because they didn't implement it right. Because the egos in Europe are like, what do the Americans know, those cheeseburger eating fucks? They know how to do sports, so you should fucking listen to them. Because they've been doing this VAR shit under a different name for decades. And they figured it out for the most part. But we're just like, hey, let's stroke each other. Hey, VAR, that's a good idea. Let's fuck this one up too. Because we're Europeans and we know better.
Like every sport in the United States has instant replay.
Since the I remember since the 90s that shit was locked down.
Yeah, 360 pixels, 420, 480.
Yeah, even at like 360i, whatever. You still had it. They still figured shit out.
Yeah.
Now these days, when you actually have 4K cameras in North America, not 720p.
They have pylon cameras now. They have cameras and pylons, and they have what between the glass and hockey as well.
Fucking everywhere. The refs have their body cams.
Like I don't know. Like for me, VAR. These referees are using VAR to scapegoat poor officiating, and anyone that sits there. Anyone that sits, because like, right, they're saying, I tried to trust VAR and VAR didn't give me this. Where it's like, Serie A doesn't even have enough fucking cameras to run VAR. which is absolutely atrocious. 720 pixels. Fucking Sky Sports. I still remember Salernitana. Sky Sports had more cameras in the stadium than Serie A did.
So, like, when you're talking about going to Deloitte to look at the financial situation, maybe you should be like, hey, could we, like, maybe try to budget in for some technology from the past 15 years, perhaps, that we can implement to make this thing a little better? Let's see, like, how much would that cost us? Just let me know. Oh, it's only like tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, yeah, okay, sure, let's do that. The cameras are cheap these days, right? You can get them off like Temu and Wish.com for like $5. All right. Apparently, the league's already ball tied to the Chinese, anyways. Might as well just use their Wish.com and get their 1080p cameras for $5.
Exactly, right? LJJ says we have evidence with images, videos, and stats that referees are favoring Inter, and we can all, like I said, anybody can see it. It begs the conversation to be had. When you have one of their websites, their journalism websites, because I think Nima runs that site.
Oh yeah, that guy's a fucking.
Hey,
what the hell?
we're happy that this referee is not doing it, and it's not because we vetoed it, but in reality, we kind of did. It's like reading between the lines. I don't know what Beppe Morata has done to AIA or whatever. The whole Inter thing is sketchy when Paramount Plus became their shirt sponsor. That to me was ridiculously sketchy. Like, really?
It is a little sus.
It is, because it's like, you shouldn't. You are the main distributor for Serie A in the United States. You should not do that.
Yeah, it would be like, say, the Saints had Fox Sports as their sponsor.
Yeah. Like, if you had, well, and that's one of the things that makes football interesting, American football. You can't have sponsors on your shit. Like, they're very strict to the uniform.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about American sports I give credit to. They're like, no sponsors on the jersey. You can put sponsorships around the stadium on the sides. Shit ain't going.
Whereas, like, Empoli has 2 sponsors right on their chest. So it looks bad. It's a joke. Let's not even get into European hockey. That's the biggest travesty.
Yeah, oh my God, those kits, holy hell. But I think, and right, like, for example, IFTV have close relationships with Paramount Plus, with Paramount. So it's like, they can't really dunk on Inter because it pisses off the wrong person, and Inter's like, hey man, you guys are our shirt sponsor. What the fuck are you guys dunking on us for, right? Like, for example, if Dave and I if we were getting paid by Juve, we would have to watch about certain concepts that we talk about, right? It's the honest.
We would be able to say anything.
We would be able to say
sucked so bad.
Like, they would probably say, hey, your lighting in your background's terrible. Move and adjust this. Like, I remember I had to switch my background when we were working with them because
it was all booze.
On that. Yeah, it was all booze. But
even though I have a Juventus beer in my background,
that's why I have this concern. Like, for example, IFTV is the channel that's supposed to promote Calcio, but, like, for example, they're tied with Paramount because Marco is on IFTV and he works for Paramount. It's a conflict of interest. So, like, you can't dunk Inter on IFTV because I know a lot of folks are saying that it's Inter TV essentially. They can't dunk on Inter, and this is, a tinfoil hat theory here, because Paramount's connection with Inter because they're shirt sponsors. So you can't, essentially, because if they were just supposed to say that and they condone it, Inter could make a quick phone call, because I know Inter's petty as hell, and say, hey, this guy said this about this and this, and your guy let this happen. And then next thing later, he gets called in and like, bro, what the fuck? What's going on? You can't be dunking on our shirt. Because, like, for example, that's what Nima tried to do towards Beppe. Nima tried taking clips out of context from Beppe and sending it to Juventus to get Beppe in trouble. And that's absolute scumbag behavior on his part. But it's just, it's not tinfoil. It's true. It's business.
I love how this should just be called, like, the anti IFTV league.
From an ethical standpoint, I think it's a huge conflict of interest. I really do. Because they're getting, Inter is essentially sweeping under the rug. Paramount's not going to call them out for shit like that because you can't. Because they're a shirt sponsor. And it looks bad if your sponsor's calling you out. Makes you look like a joke.
The fact, it already looks like a joke.
It is.
You screwed up. Paramount, Serie A, everyone, y'all screwed up.
That's why I hope that Paramount does not retain the rights to Serie A. And if they do next season, honestly, shit. Pirate it. Don't give Paramount money for doing that. Because Paramount's
that's-
letting them get away with this. This is what's irritating me. Because Paramount, their anchors won't call out Inter because there's a business agreement with them.
Yeah. And Cheryl's saying here, whoever would try getting Beppe in trouble is worse than scum. And
Well,
that's
why
sort of the thing. Like Beppe, whether you like him or not, at the end of the day, like he doesn't do anybody dirty.
He doesn't.
So why would he do him dirty?
Because that's the issue, right? Nima took those videos out of context, right? With the whole like, oh, what if it's an Inter and a Juve jersey and stuff, and then he started digging in Bepe's old tweets and stuff like that, and phrasing it to make Beppe look atrocious. And he's like, I can't believe Juve have this guy as their spokesperson, and he would tag Juventus, and it was just absolutely disgusting. Dahl says before they were a lot more neutral and gave fair commentary on all the teams. Now it's all Inter and sucking.
This last weekend, what they're like claiming Inzaghi to be the greatest coach ever. It's like, what the fuck do you come from? I'm not saying he's a bad coach,
You
but
want to know why?
guys,
Because they ran out of De Zerbi. De Zerbi's hype cooled off, and then next thing later, Italiano's hype cooled off, and then Motta's not doing too well
yeah,
right
all of
now.
them.
So like they need to find something, right? So it's Inzaghi. That's their next guy. Inzaghi's an absolute tactical mad lad, even though his squad is barely surviving all of these matches.
And he's asking who did that to Beppe. His name is Nima Travale. He runs SemperInter.com.
You tried getting Beppe fired from Juve. It's terrible.
It was scum. And that was the day or two after we actually had him on this channel because we were playing Inter and we decided. We were like, okay, let's cross party lines here. Let's be adults about things, and then that happened.
And the thing is like it kind of our conversation went well, and then it's just what happened after was it just pissed us off. Watched IFTV a couple times, determined it was a Merda channel disguised as Serie A channel. Beppe is most good faith. Yeah. Beppe.
So what does that say about us?
Myself, yeah.
No good faith at all. We're like, fuck everything.
Jeff's like Dave and Dash are scumbags. Don't listen to them. Terrible. Look, yeah, Dave and myself, we always give our hats off to Beppe. Beppe helped us a lot as far as video creation, thumbnails, the whole thing. Beppe showed us the ropes. So like for us, Beppe is always welcome here. I mean, hell, we have him on our Discord. Like Beppe's in the Discord. He sometimes responds to people every now and then when he has time. So very, very awesome relationship with Zio Beppe. I had an unnatural pause for no reason because I think we've covered everything. We're practically hitting the 2 hour mark. So
yeah,
chat,
we are. And I got to make a phone call. It looks like so.
So chat, before we wrap up, throw in any last things that you want us to cover before we sign off because we're hitting the 2 hour mark and usually we kind of end the tinfoil hat show. So we'll do that. Dahl says if Inter loses the league, it'll be the biggest choke ever. No, the Lions losing to the San Francisco 49ers.
No, nobody expected them to win, though. That's the difference.
It's disgusting. I hate myself. It's like Wayne's Worlds when they can't.
Oh, that's what you're talking about, like Wayne's World. Yeah. Okay.
I
That makes more sense now.
I still think that was one of the most stupidest things Paramount could have ever done is sponsor them. And I'm not saying it because, F Inter and whatnot. I'm saying from an ethical business standpoint, I think it was absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. Jeff says Chiefs will win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no.
Probably.
T Swift is winning the Super Bowl. That's all that's happening.
Taylor Swift is winning the Super Bowl. I'm from the UK. I have no idea what the Lions are. Good.
Oh, Detroit Lions, yeah.
You don't want to. You don't want to. KB says, seeing the growth of the channel is so heartwarming. The grind has been paying off, which is, holy hell.
Very nice. I've noticed you've picked up a little bit too there, KB, on yours. Raven Vanguard, if you like watching retro PlayStation games and whatnot, or just making fun of KB on the side.
It says, or the Ravens became break dancers in their most important game. Yeah, Zay Flowers fumbling at the one. Or ethical business are two words that don't go well together.
You can have an ethical I think ethical business / corporation, maybe not, but like you can have small business. You can have, say, somebody that's just a content creator have an ethical business because it's small time. I'm not saying Google or Apple can have an ethical business, but like me and Dash can.
Yeah. So Fabiana Donavale, just because she likes to hear the sound of her voice.
She's been going off all evening.
She apparently says, if Chiesa is sold in the summer, Juventus can target Zaccagni, Berardi, or Sukadov.
She's reaching. Transfer market's over. She's reaching.
Sudakov. I said Sukadov. Sudakov.
Yeah, you did. Suck a dog.
Oh, yeah, go suck a dove. That's gonna be. I need to make that as a bit. Suck a dove. There we go. I even said it loud too. Stamped. And then Bremer was asked about Inter or Juve, and he said I chose the right side. That was his response. Oof. All dog. Just oof.
Thanks, Dal. Yeah, everyone tell your friends,
Yeah,
Juve
everybody
people.
tell your friends.
Hopefully you have Juve friends because I don't have any in like real life. Just
Yeah, we don't. Fortunately, nobody cares that much about it. When I get my first big commission money, I'll be Oprah Winfrey doing subs.
You get a sub. You get a sub. You get a sub.
Hey, watch Jeff sell some like NFL player like a $5.4 million house, gets like 500K, and he's like, I am going to be your sugar daddy now.
I could use me a sugar daddy.
I could use me a sugar mama. Shoot, give me a cougar. I'll walk her every day if she lets me get a Ferrari. Just you need to walk her every day just so she doesn't feel lonely. Do I get a Ferrari and a shit ton of money? Yes, done. Sold.
Can't even pick up the kids from soccer practice with that Ferrari. What good are you?
Kids? What are those?
Yeah. Something that doesn't exist in either one of our lives, apparently.
Yeah,
so
allegedly.
All right. Well, that was a fun one. We spent about half of it talking about the one
Charlie.
Charlie.
The one and only Charlie. Trying to
We
figure
didn't even
out-
say he's number 26. I believe he
the,
kept that throughout.
I think so. Some nostalgia folk are like, oh my gosh, he took Stefan Lichtsteiner's number.
No, he took his own number.
He took his own. I believe his number at Southampton was no, it was 22 actually.
I saw it. No, he did wear 26 at some point. I saw in the highlights. I'm not sure when exactly, but he has worn the 26 before.
Yeah, so he has. It's guys. It's not a Stefan Lichtsteiner sentimental. Like I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. Not to be a dick, but I'm pretty sure.
It's probably like, we're Switzerland.
He's like, what is this Switzerland? No, I'm sure he knows what Switzerland is.
Oh, yeah, he probably does. We're just joking, of course. Well, on that note, though, it was a fun one. I love the Wednesday nights. Apparently, you guys do as well. It is our best show.
We were hitting like 30 live viewers all the time. So,
Yeah, you guys hate our pre-recorded shit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I think they just like talking to us live. That's why.
Maybe.
I think that might be what it is. I think
we prefer it too.
Yeah, I think it's just the conversation per se, and they're just like, hey, we can talk to these guys and yada yada yada. So, wow, that's kind of stupid by Charlie. Back in 2023, bro signed a 5-year contract only to get relegated. What a goof. And he says,
I mean, at 20, he's 20 at that point, right? Like, I don't know. That's a big sign.
He said, yes, the pre-recorded stuff is a bit watered down.
I see.
He physically said, you guys are shit when you're pre-recorded. You're garbage. I hate you guys. Alcatraz. Can we just call him that? Alcatraz? Can I forward the motion? Chat. Put a 1 in the chat if we want to call him Alcatraz. That's our Turin Giants nickname for him.
I feel it doesn't work because Alcatraz would be like locking things down.
Yeah, but he is. He's aggressive. He makes very aggressive tackles. So Alcatraz.
So like more so the inmates in Alcatraz, like shanking people with a plastic knife that they made out of a spoon. 1. Yeah. Are they just agreeing? Is that what 1 means? They're agreeing that we're shit recorded?
No, I said put a 1 in the chat if you want us to call him Alcatraz.
Oh, you did just say that. Okay. All right, fine.
And then Frankie says I usually watch the pre-recorded stuff at the gym or my drive to class.
Yeah, I know you. I know the regulars, you guys, for the most part, do watch it, but the numbers overall are not.
Yeah, Frankie, you can only watch a video 70 times for so long before you lose your mind.
Joe from Friends.
Joe from Friends.
What about Joe from Friends?
The turkey.
Did he have that?
Yeah, well, he wore an actual turkey.
Oh, that's right. He had the turkey.
He's like this. He's like, well, I got to see if I can get it to fit. That's what she said as I throw all my shit down. Oh, he had the thing where he was like, hold on, let me see if I can do this correctly. Where it's like this. Hey, guys, the turkey's stuck on my head. Like that's what that was.
Friends.
Oh, my hue just changed. I went down.
Wow, you went blue.
Blue. How the hell did that happen?
That's turned blue. That's the sign.
Blue. I'm choking. We got to end the video. Quick, give me CPR, mouth to mouth. I'm dying.
Oh, okay. Well, you know how we have to do this, right? Is you just play the music and then eventually we all go away.
You guys are awesome. Did you just get rid of the music?
No, I quiet it down so it doesn't cut you off.
Oh, fair enough. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Tinfoil Hat Show. Make sure you like and subscribe and stuff to the video. Obviously, Road to 2K. I believe there's going to be some merchandise that comes out. So I don't know when it's going to, what it is, how it's going to be. We just know that there's some free swag for you guys if we hit 2K.
We'll get you something. Just hit 2,000. Just keep it rolling.
Hit it. Keep it rolling. Turn,
It's gonna most likely be the hoodie. If I have to like go to Chicago, punch Farhad and steal a hoodie from his closet, I'll do that.
Obviously, though, guys, do remember, share it to folks. Get us up to 2K. I mean, we're halfway from the other Juve channels, so we're starting to get a little bit bigger. But the grind continues. We will see you for some Saturday night call-in shows and some Intertalk because you know the game is Sunday, and then we'll go from there, everybody. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in on the next one.
Oh my God, there's more things. Just as we're saying that, nothing important though. There's news rolling in. We're just gonna have to come at you.
Look, we'll say this: if it's
Saturday?
big and crazy, we'll make an emergency.
We'll make it. Yeah,
we'll make an emergency.
if it's big and crazy. Otherwise, our second best show is Saturday night, and that's gonna be the pregame as well. Oh my God, I can't wait. People are dropping off. I can't believe you guys listen to us ramble on talking about what our agenda is for the rest of the week. On that note, why are we still looking at ourselves?
I know. Just
My God.
End it.
Gross.
Let's go home. Let's sleep.